Okay, so we opening up the first topic. There are 5. We're going one by one on each. So now, currently the topic is the changing paradigm of branding. That's the first topic. I've got already 3 tables, like you have those first elective, second elective in schools. So this is the first elective they have taken. That's the second elective, then the third. So in priority, it's going to happen. So everyone gets to participate. You individually amongst yourselves on your particular table, please discuss for this for the next 20-25 minutes on this particular topic. I also have a few posted notes which I will hand over. Maybe you could make your notes on this also. That's the beauty of it. We'll be taking a pause somewhere in between the first topic so that it seems it goes on to the second one, it spills over seamlessly. You won't realize it, but it's going to come from you guys, not from me. I'm just the person who's going to build the bridges in between. So this is the topic. You have 25 minutes to discuss on your table. Each and every table has to come out with 1 or 2 points, but only these tables will get to present first. You can ask them questions on what the takeaways are. So this table will come out with 3 points, 3 from them and 3 from them. Then you could ask questions to them. Then we move on to the second one. Then they ask questions to you. So it's going, each one gets to participate. And if you could see, can you see your name tag? You all got a tag of a role player, not a speaker. So you all are actors and actresses in this movie here called World Brand Congress. So you all have a role to play, and as Shakespeare says, please play it well and leave a legacy behind. Let's see if you guys are up to the challenge. A unique thing, never tried before. I can see a lot of eyes going up, is how is this going to happen? But believe me, this is going to happen. And I'm very confident it's going to be a great. You've been a part of it before, so you know what I'm referring to. So I have got a few oldies also who have experienced this. So those are my, what you call, little mafia type. So I put my people in between. So, but nonetheless, Preeti, this is your table, so lead the conversation on yours. You could start the conversation here also. So up to you. Each table, 25 minutes max. Then I'll come back and take. Okay, you guys, I'm sure this is going to continue for a long time. Now let's take a little debrief in terms of what the learnings were on each table. Pehle tali. Okay, so this is Preeti's table, and she's going to share what the learnings were or what the sharings were on her table. So,
okay, first of all, I have to say that I really lucked out. A fabulous, team here. I mean, they were just full of ideas and full of participation. So I think it was quite easy to arrive at our 3 points, which I'm going to offer to you. So I think that, first of all, when we're talking about purpose, we're talking about sustainability and all these wonderful, wise things, which of course immediately gets into the zone of ROIs and so on, and we can never really sacrifice ROIs, can we? So I think we heard that out. We also heard about the fact that we have multiple audiences. It's very difficult now to have one kind of a brand key and make it work across all audiences, The other thing that we heard is that, everything is in a state of flux. I mean, look at the state of media, new trends, just about everything, new products, new services, and it's just mind-boggling, right? It's overwhelming. So we discussed all of that, and then we said, great, enough of throwing up the challenges. Let's put it down into what is it, therefore, that we can do without one sacrificing the other. So if we retain ROI, but we are not going to sacrifice our purpose, what could be the statement? It is that for a company or a brand, it should stand for inclusive profitability. That yes, we stand for profit, but we stand for profit not just for ourselves, but something larger than ourselves as well. So it's not that we don't drive towards an ROI, but it is that we stand for people, planet, and of course, prosperity for all, including the business. The second and the most very important thing is the fact that we need to address every target audience with empathy, with design thinking at the core, which makes us malleable. So design thinking is all about empathy in any case. It doesn't stop talking about what you should be selling or positioning as a brand, a product, or a service, but you are thinking a lot from the perspective of the end user. That makes you malleable. That makes you malleable, not to the extent that you break your own core values and core thoughts. You stick to them, but you find new ways of talking to different audiences. And very importantly, you have to be authentic. Don't make a promise you can't keep. Don't make a promise that you'll be called out on. So authenticity of owning who you truly are is wonderful. And another important thing is that we are in a universe which is in so much flux that we need to have a mindset which is meta-vertical, which is constantly embracing the new, constantly working with the new, constantly learning to work and deal with the new. And I think that's really what are our 3 points. So inclusive profitability, attitude of empathy, malleability and authenticity, and a mindset of being a meta-vertical organization and individuals.
Hi. I have no idea how anyone can speak after Preeti Vyas. But I think, thank you, ma'am. You're an institution, and it's a genuine privilege to be able to be in your presence and make some points. I think we had a very, very stimulating discussion on our table. A couple of points that I think came out of that were, I think while the topic is about changing paradigm of branding, I think we were also of the view that the more things change, the more they stay the same. I think some things certainly with the passage of time have changed. Structures and jargons have changed. Back when some of us were studying, there used to be 4 P's of marketing. Then someone created a 5th one. The last I heard, there were 9 P's. And someone sitting somewhere in Harvard is probably working on a 16P theory. There are brand keys, brand pyramids, and all those other kinds of fancy things that people keep coming up with. I was reading the other day that the concept of USP itself is extinct now. So I think some of those things have changed. What has not changed for sure is consumers as human, us as human beings, right? Human beings will always think from the heart. We will always make purchase decisions using a lot of emotion and less rational, enough and more evidence to support that. Human beings have a need to connect. And I think in the digital age and now even more empowered with AI, the role of marketing and branding is going to be how do I facilitate better connections and better communities using my brand. So that's one thing that I think has changed and yet stayed the same. The other thing is about, back in the day, marketing and branding used to get away with spending millions of dollars and crores of rupees saying, हम brand बना रहे हैं. क्या कर रहे हैं? हम brand बना रहे हैं. What is there to show for it? Precious little. I think what has certainly changed is the ability of boards, board of directors and CEOs to ask of CMOs, okay, what is the tangible result that you're able to show for the spends that you're doing? So there's accountability that's changed certainly in the last 10 to 15 years, especially since the advent of marketing. And that also has resulted, I think, in a lot of performance marketing, a lot of evidence delivering mechanisms that let CMOs say, this is what we've spent and this is what we've achieved out of it. So that's been a change. What has not changed though is the first stage in the marketing funnel, which is awareness, right? The fundamental job of branding and marketing is to make people aware of the product and the brand that you have, whether it is with the purpose, whether it is with its differentiators, whether it is with anything else. The first and primary role is to get people to know you, right? Know you and like you. So awareness and affinity was the paradigm of branding 20 years ago, today, and it will continue to be like that, in my opinion, for the next 20 years. So that's something that's changed and yet not changed a little bit. And lastly, we've always, through traditional media, TV, print, radio, outdoor, etc., I think a lot of the communication and the branding was one size fits all. Today, with technology, it started with digital and AI is only going to accelerate that. I think the word of the decade, if I may say, is personalization. So, that again appeals to going back to what I was talking about as human beings. No one wants to be spoken to by a brand like you're one of a million. You want to be spoken like you're one in a million, right? And today, tools allow us to talk to customers as a unit of one. And I think that's one thing that's again changed and yet not changed. So, I mean, just my closing thought on this, because marketing is nothing but an irony, and so is change. So, keep it simple, stupid, KISS, should be the mantra that I think I'd like all of us marketers to think about when we're looking at things. And yeah, happy Valentine's Day. Thank you.
So this is the pressure you feel when you're third in the group, and I can only imagine what it's going to be for the next, because all the best points were taken. But here's what the group was able to do. Interesting points. We all had different things to bring from our unique perspectives. We had people from different industries, different areas of marketing. So we had everyone from Disney to a Godrej to a Calsoft to Airtel. We also had independent consultants. So what I'm trying to do is summarize what our group was able to bring out. This is in complement with what we heard from ma'am and from group number 2, if that's the way to call it. Oh, all right, group 1, sorry. Okay, so the big punchlines that we were able to distill. One, this is again something we already heard, but we were able to identify and say that, we get so stuck up in the terminologies like we are a B2B brand or a B2C brand, but the reality is, and this was called out, we are actually a human-to-human brand. At the end of the day, no matter who you're selling to, whether it's a group of buyers and a whole buying committee, if it's a B2B, or it's a single user that's going to make the purchase on a payment gateway, you're still selling to a human on the other end of the table. So what you really need in a human-to-human brand is storytelling. You really need to connect to the person that you're talking to or the audience that you're talking to in a way that is more deep. And we want to really question the fact, can performance marketing do this for you? Or is brand marketing a right balance to add in with your performance marketing? The second thing is also about empathy within the same point, that when you're talking to humans, you definitely have to ensure and understand where they are in their buying journey, what are their needs, what are the pain points, and to get this empathy up front and center so that they are able to connect with you and are able to make the purchase decision in a more efficient fashion. The second big point that we distilled down was relevancy. And the key points I want to talk about when it comes to relevancy is, one is we definitely need to be in sync with the times. This is true for so many legacy brands, right? So there is a Godrej, there is a Disney, they've been around for almost a millennia. But how do they ensure that they're still relevant to the consumer of today? In the example that we saw a ma'am present, there was a Barbie example, 1959, and right now we're in 2024, and the brand is still relevant. So how do you ensure you're in sync with the times? And while you're in sync with the times, also ensure that you are talking to the consumer in a limited time frame. Whether we have the attention span of a goldfish or not, I don't know, but we know that for a fact your consumer is giving you a limited time of their day or whatever they're doing, and how do you make the most of it? Similar is the need to be contextual when you're being relevant. Are you ensuring that through personalization, through any tools that you have, big data, AI, whatever, are you really feeding into that machine to make that relevancy really the king and the key hook of what you're communicating? The third big call out is two-way communication, right? So it's no longer about this brand being the only solo person or a solo entity that's going to say everything the brand is. There is this healthy co-creation of what a brand experience is and what a brand is through people participating through UGC, user-generated content, through everyone participating on social media. The rise of communities, social media, and even offline communities, let's not restrict it only to digital, only goes to show that a brand is being created as we touch and feel it, and as we experience it over digital. So in summary, the three key highlights that we were able to distill down: one, it's about human-to-human marketing. It's about making relevancy up front and center. And third, it's about co-creating with your brand so that you can create brand fans that can actually be a better brand ambassador for you.
Some wonderful insights. And as I said, I'm not an astrologer, but you guys gave those pointers for the future next panels. Preeti put forward her points, which were similar to the decoding growth potential. So she broke it down in terms of what exactly the decoding part is. People talked about ROI and everything, which is also there in measuring the movement, which is there in the fifth panel. And then you had purpose and context coming in, and also consumers, which is there in the second panel, the second topic. So nothing works in a silo, but you all are somehow or the other connecting one another to the next panel. Thank you so much, Preeti, for being a part of the event. But before you say adieu to this wonderful audience who will continue with the conversations and would definitely miss your inputs moving ahead, Anita also has to take a flight back to Delhi. She obliged me by traveling only for this program and nothing else. So she's been very kind, as has been all of you here. You all, Nitin said everyone needs to be shown as I, so everyone has to be personal. So you all are really special, but she has a flight to catch. So Preeti, if you could just present her certificate so that...
I have a question. Like for the three tables, you know, coming from the brand per se, as someone has very correctly has said, like the product should come, or the knowledge should come, or the brand should come, right? So when you're building a brand, there are the three attributes which you have to look into. But there are new segments, or the sunshine segments, which are coming up in India, and the consumers or me or you might know or might not know it. So there is something called alternative protein, which is a new domain, which is a new evolving market, which Western has already caught up. Singapore is already there. India is lacking. So how do you build your brand around such products? So knowledge should come, or the product should come, or you should educate your consumers or your target audience first, then you will be releasing the product. Your product is already ready in the market. So which are the three aspects you have to look into, considering the fact that you are not funded, or you might get funding. So organically is what I mean. So how do you build a brand effectively for this certain domain, which is alternative protein? Yeah, you can say it is a new category altogether. This is a new food basket altogether, which will be presented to all the human beings, actually. So alternative protein is something which, of course, we will speak on sustainability, but it is something which is coming up to cater for people, product, and profitability of the planet, you can say, where it will be an amalgamation. We are creating a parallel channel so that effectively everyone is absorbed, and at the same time, people know what this product is, what this category is, and what it is standing for. Because US, they have launched it. India, when I have done my survey with Nielsen or any of this market research, they still don't know, they are not aware what is cultivated meat is, or what is protein-based meat is, or what is plant-based meat is. So there's a lot of confusion. They don't understand.
Yeah, so I would again, in summary, say for a new category, ensure that you're leading with perhaps education with a product embedded in it. That's the way to lead. The brand should come later, especially when you're non-funded and you want to do this organic route.
Thank you, but brand building also effectively necessary. They should also know which brand this product is selling. Because I have to push my agenda. I have to push the brand. They should be buying it. Okay, I want Clearmate's product. It stands for. I mean, I don't have real answers, actually. You know,
Nor do I. And I think it's really about if your product is able to do a job very well, the association kind of comes in.
I had been asking these questions. I have even asked to Tata Sons, the head there. Even he did not have the answers. So there's something very new. And I am finding it challenging. And I want all you to answer, or let me help her how to build it.
So there are in this category, we've done some work on this. Across Asia Pacific. The challenge in India is that do we really, for all the vegetarians here, are you missing eating chicken and mutton? Are you really looking for a chicken and mutton substitute? For US, you're getting off something which is, especially if you're eating beef and pork, you're getting off those things and eating something which is nutritious. In India, the biggest challenge is that we love our taste, and vegetarians are not really missing eating meat. So that's the challenge which you have. And we've done a lot of work, we can discuss it offline.
Yeah.
So
No, but
that's-
vegetarians are not our target here. They
But
are-
why
हाँ.
should somebody who eats chicken, we're not a huge beef and pork eating country. Those are the meats which are not very good for the body. If you're a chicken and fish eating, and it's also affordable, it's not still at the Pakistan rates, which are very high for chicken, why should somebody eat alternative? That's the question. We can.
Yeah, true, but we are doing chicken, not the beef. Of course, we cannot do it in India right now. We cannot do beef.
Yeah,
Yeah.
animal protein, but you can do a beef, the alternative.
All.
Yeah.
Yeah, that clarifies. We are doing only chicken.
All right, I think it's now getting a little warmer now in the room. People are actually now opening up. So now you can see what's going to happen when other tables then slowly start coming up. So it's now a battle between 1 and 2 right now. So let's hope 4, 3, 4, and 5 also join. I don't think there's 5 left because most people have merged. Having seen familiar faces, they've merged topics and tables also. But nonetheless, we are going to have all topics. You can see table 1 here, which was the center of attraction. You want to be a part, you can join because, okay, they're coming back. So I thought they moved out. But you can still speak on that. And one more request which has come is, we are talking about D2C, B2B, B2C, human to human, but are we also not brands ourselves? So please introduce yourself as a brand so that people know which brand they are hearing from. You say brands need to speak to you, so you as a brand speak to the others. All right, this will keep happening in between. So all I request is a little support from you guys. So coming back again, these are all those small commercials breaks that you have. When you have a YouTube without, not an ads-free YouTube that you have, so suddenly in between it pops up. So congratulations, no hard feelings, it was just, so I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day and a wonderful week ahead. Thank you. All right, guys, anyone from one table? I think she had a point and I saw and I was very happy seeing my battle. I'm winning the battle here. Both ladies going to and fro in terms of answers. But that's what is intended. I want people to interact. Just not make this a monologue of or just 5 people sitting. There you are, Rajesh.
So it's a point which I want to talk very differently on this. I see this print here on the table. You know, world over we say that print is going to vanish, still not going to sustain. But everywhere in India, still print is there. You know, we still believe in that, and I feel print may continue for some time, but still no clear answers. What is the point which, if the panel can talk on this area? Is print going to continue in India? Or what shape print will take really in India? Is it going to take a different shape? Though it doesn't come under the so-called sustainable subject, because it's still hampering some environmental areas.
I think there would be someone in the audience. I'm not a domain expert to answer. I'm not from the paper industry or the pulp or the media, which uses a lot of paper or print to go it. But print definitely won't go out of date is what I feel. Because you still love to read books that gets printed. It might be recycled and reused, but still, those are also awfully expensive also in terms to make it. It's not cheap. And at a particular point of time, you reach a point of salvation. You can't move ahead beyond, you can't move ahead beyond that. You've reached that point, you plateaued. Like humans, we plateau somewhere or the other, which we call menopause, but we plateau somewhere or the other in business also. So that's where you have to change this paradigm. I'm sorry, I don't want to preach here. You guys are, I think I am becoming a speaker here.
I can try to answer this question from my industry point of view, pharma industry. So like many other industries, we try to replace print with digital content very strongly. But honestly speaking, that has not clicked that much. So whether it's domestic or international, digital content could not replace print or even to a significant extent. initially we thought the entire print budget, we wanted to say, okay, this is the visual aid and this leave behind literatures, that cost we translate into the digital content. We given tablets to the sales force and everyone. But honestly speaking, it has not leaked that much. I rightly say roughly between 7 to 8%. If total promo budget between print and digital is 100, then it's company to company, it varies between now 5 to 8% maximum.
Yeah, so I just want to make one point over here. See, sustainability is not about replacing one thing which is not sustainable. That's impossible. Like, you can't replace your car, you can't replace your house. Everything is unsustainable. They have some unsustainability or some elements in it. What's happening in the print, if you see, there is a huge reduction. Like, the kind of paper we used to use maybe 10, 15 years back, we have reduced a lot. And then look at the industry itself. The paper is right now, most of the paper industries, they are into the recycling. The ink industry or printing, like when you buy a printer today, if you see HP and Epson and everything, everyone tells you that how efficient and how much they are recyclable, how much they are durable, repairable and everything. So I don't think so print will go, it will remain, but it will become more efficient, and with the technology and innovation, it will include your circularity, so that your resources, which is cutting trees and everything, will be reduced to very extent. But imagining a world where, for example, fossil fuel will go, I don't think so, because then lithium-ion battery you have in car, they have their own issues. They have to do mine, they have to literally bring on those diesel trucks to factory to create those batteries. So the point is that how we can become more efficient about the something which is going to affect the environment rather than replacing it by something other than that. Very good point about meats. Maybe tomorrow you'll come to know the production thing of those plant-based meat and everything itself is not efficient or itself not sustainable. So, technology will keep challenging those things. We need to see how we can innovate and reduce our consumption or reduce our pressure on the natural resources overall. That's my point.
I just wanted to add to this, guys. I'm from the B2B marketing world, and it's very highly unlikely that we use print, and that too I'm from the startup space. I work with startups as a virtual CMO. And it's very highly unlikely that you'll see print being utilized in our marketing outreaches. However, of late, there have been quite a few companies globally who have come up, who kind of, I don't know how many of you are aware of this concept called account-based marketing in B2B, wherein you actually customize your content to a particular company or an account for that matter. And there are companies globally who have come not only just to customize, content, but also customize gifts. It could be a coffee table book for that matter, which is personalized for that particular company, which has probably some offerings around that as well. So I'm just saying that print is a great clutter-breaking, avenue in a world which is, towards, digital, going towards digital. So it can be a very good clutter-breaking, concept as such. That will not fade away. Yeah.
Hi, I have one perspective from my industry. I am from BFSI. I am from SBI Securities. So when you look at BFSI, we are now completely digital, right? We don't use any paper, right? From onboarding the client, it is a DIY journey, right? From uploading a KYCs, nominations, any documents, all soft copies, yeah? So it depends from industry use case, how are you going to use print? In terms of marketing, we don't do any print collaterals, right? There are no brochures anymore. We have televisions in all the branches, and we all put displays over there, okay? So you look at Amazon also, it says, it tells you to whether you want all your orders in one packet delivered in one single day, or you want it differently. So everybody's trying to reduce it, and there are different use cases. So it depends how it evolves going further.
Hi, just a quick add to what everyone's already saying. I don't know whether your question was whether print is going to reduce as a marketing medium, or whether usage of paper is going to reduce.
I'm talking marketing medium.
As a marketing medium. I think in a country as large as ours, I know multiple people have said that they've stopped using brochures or print in their marketing collaterals. I am not sure if FMCG companies who have to go to every Panbidi store in every village, and you can only imagine the depth of the entire thing. is ever going to be able to get rid of, at least not in foreseeable future. Certainly not in the next 10 to 20 years, unless there is a mechanism by which there are iPad screens at each, Kirana store and Panbidi store that is, flashing and you can swipe things, etc. Everything becomes obsolete if there is a effective and efficient alternative for it, right? Kodak lost out because they continued to be in the business that they did, and there was a far more effective and efficient way of clicking pictures that came around, right? So, for as far as marketing is able to really find a more effective and efficient alternative to printing, I don't think it's going out of fashion anytime soon.
Yeah, just to add as well, since we are talking about the digital and the phygital part of it. So I mean, the digital mediums are through the devices that the overall marketing collaterals are being shared and the marketing messages are being shared. The collaterals in the physical print are more on the physical part wherein people are touching and so on. So it's not about the medium completely dying in, but it would be an amalgamation of both the mediums, because as in India, we are still growing into the penetration of internet going on to the rural areas as well. So as just sir mentioned about BFSI industry, you are reducing it. So it is not something of a replacement. Probably 5 years down the line, if the consumers are very educated enough to be utilizing and consuming the content on the digital devices, probably you might go completely as paperless. The government initiatives are also going towards paperless. So of course, we see a reduction in the consumption. Talking about personalization, because marketing is personalization, but through a physical medium of paper, technically personalization is not possible because it is mass. So in a world where we are talking about adoption of AI to create personalized content, that is technically possible through digital media, wherein we analyze the buyer personas and then deliver them the digital content which is personalized to their needs. The brochures in the marketing world would be more of a static content delivered to a mass audience without knowing their preferences. So if it's a B2B buyer, we understand. If it's a B2C, then there are very different channels of consumer preferences. And in the e-commerce scenario, I'm speaking this because I belong to an IT industry, specifically into e-commerce, and I head the marketing department of there. So talking about the retail industry, e-commerce and etc., we are sitting at lakhs and probably millions of users through whom you actually want to personalize the communications, which is never going to be possible through a physical medium. So yes, the physical medium is, the consumption is getting slower, but not completely moved out from a overall ecosystem of India, I would say.
Just one more thing I wanted to add. How many of you guys are from Times of India, ex-Times of India alumni or Barin Coleman alumni? Ex-Times Internet, okay. So I am an alumni, and as part of our orientation, we were oriented around different verticals of Times of India. And there's this particular vertical called Brand Capital. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. Okay. So it's interesting because I still remember the orientation. This was back in 2011. And the person who was orienting us, he actually told us that brand capital has been invented to prevent or elongate the sunset of print. Okay. So now Times of India, which is one of the largest newspaper in the country, they also feel threatened with the whole digital push. They have digital property as well, but they also know that this is going to be a sunset. Things are changing. And they are coming up with newer alternatives. So for people who don't know about Brand Capital, it's basically a service offered by Times of India in which they offer print ads in lieu of equity or other instruments as well. So basically they have these kind of things as well to enable new advertisers to taste print as well as ensure that their newspapers are full of ads as well. So it's interesting because larger institutions in this area are also kind of feeling the pinch, and they're coming up with innovations on how you can do about it as well.